Dun, 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 dun. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Bum, 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 bum. What's up, party people in the house?
What up, though?
Welcome to This is Live, one of the sexiest voices in the SFL,
Mr. Master.
Dave Axis. What's up, party people of the SFL? What's going on? What's happening? What's cracking this Tuesday night? It's been a couple weeks since I've been here. Missed you guys last week. I hope everybody had a nice Valentine's Day. If you didn't, I'm sorry to hear that. I had a good one. So I guess sucks for you, but great for me. How about that? Anyway, welcome to, what is this? Episode 6 of Season 20 of Axis Live. Glad to see all the peeps, all the party peeps hopping in the chat. I see a bunch of people piling in. I will get to you in just a moment. I want to talk to you about a couple things real quick. First thing is I need to announce some winners over the last couple weeks of people who have won some drawings due to answering questions in the Access Live server or guessing who the guest host was or what have you. So here are the announcements, and these will start going out probably in the next week or so to these people. 90% of the previous winners have all received their stuff. I think there's one or two people that are still waiting on shipping, but everybody else is still good. So that being said, James Troll, in week 3, he guessed who our guest host was going to be, so he'll be getting something. He'll be getting some Access Live swag. Question 5 in the announcements in the Access Live server, Dan Tritz. Tritz, you won. Your name was pulled for the drawing, so you'll be winning some Access swag. For the Valentine's Day question, and I got to tell you, man, this hurts me. This hurts to say it, but the winner of the Valentine's Day draw was none other than Zach Holdorf himself. So Zach is going to win some Access Live swag. The Super Bowl question that we had, the drawing for that, David Leathers, the man with the best first name in the SFL, is going to win some Access swag. And then Crazy Canuck won because his friend became my 400th follower on Twitch a couple weeks ago. And she, asked me to pass it on to Crazy Canuck. So there's 5 more Access swag winners that will be getting their gear shortly. Before I get to the party people and before I get to the panelists, I do want to let you guys know this is a show tonight. It's going to be a little different. I was out all day today. I was gone all day. Is my hat crooked? Shit. There we go. I was out all day selling the family car that helped raise our kids. We had a Toyota Venza that was 10 years old. We bought it in 2013, the same year the SFL started. And we just sold it today with 180,000 miles on it. It's got all the memories in it. Taking the kids to football practice and basketball practice and piling my drunk friends in the back and picking the kids up from camp. And, I mean, the memories just go on. Cross-country trips, just all kinds of stuff. So I was gone all day selling the family vehicles. So there's a few things we will not have tonight. Number one, didn't have time to do the Diva of the Week videos. I have the Diva of the Week video from the winner from week 3 that we'll announce tonight, but I don't have for the nominees, so the panelists will just say who their Diva of the Week nominees are. Second thing I don't have is I didn't get the power rankings. I didn't have time to reach out to Hunter and get those. And the third thing is I have no pick'em updates from the previous pickers, but I can update all of that stuff next week. So there's that. Those are all your announcements, catching everybody up. Let's see who is in the house tonight. The party people, the first one in is Holdorf, followed by Freddie. Bullet's in the house. Justin Reside. Will Todd. Bullet Beletsky subscribed to Tier 1 for 27th month in a row. Look at all those months I'm not even on the air. Bullet is a loyal man. The lovely, amazing, perfect Pink Lisa is in the house. Mel Davis in his house. Farnsy's here. Josh, good to see you. Hunter McWaffle, that's Winkler. Art Vandelay. Ronnie Shanahan. Frank the Franchise. Wade. Gunny. T the Queen. Stephen McMichaels, what's up, buddy? Long time no see, buddy. How you been? Axel Ravens in the house. Bob Funk, can't have a show without him. Neil Rivers is here. David Leathers, I don't know if you were here a minute ago. You won some swag, brother. Bearded Androids in the house. What's up, bro? Shut Up Kanye. I don't know if is that a new name? Shut Up Kanye. Have you been in the show before? I don't remember saying that name before. Twin Screws in the house. Mike, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Doug Britton. I'll be talking about Doug Britton here in just a couple minutes. Jay Balmer, good to see you. A lot of you guys piling in. Good to see everybody here tonight. Bayou City Chef, good to see you, buddy. Ethan Kai, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Good to see you. As always, if I forget to throw you a shout out, go ahead and at me. I think that's everybody. If I missed you, go ahead and at me in the chat, and I'll get you. Looks like we got a level 1 hype train starting, folks. What's going on with that? Good to see that too. It's nice to be back. It's different. It's a different show. Oh, Jack Wall's here. I didn't even see you, Jack. And look at, oh my gosh, the commission's in the house. What's up, Cam? 89 Will Talk gifting a Tier 1 sub to Dave Axis's community. Who got it? Does it say who got it? It went to J Balmer 3. Good deal. Glad to see all you guys in the house. Love seeing you. It's a different show. It's a different vibe when you miss a week. It's like trying to make up for lost time or something. Grant Hardaway, good to see you. Good to see everybody there in the chat. Again, if I missed you, go ahead and at me. In the meantime, let's see who. Look at, I forgot to do the party people. This is what happens when I take a week off. I get rusty. Let's check out the panelists. In the very first circle tonight, folks, which is the one closest to me, is someone who has not been on the show for about maybe 5 or 6 weeks, something like that. But he's a regular. He is one of my right-hand men, and he has been here since day one. I believe he was here on show number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, Frank the Franchise Wade is in the house. Frank, what's going on, buddy? How you been, man?
I've been fine. I'm glad to be back. My daughter's on dance line, so she performs at basketball games. We've been having to take care of that. Basketball season is over with now, so I'm glad to be back and be able to be part of the show.
Basketball is over. It's time for football, Frank.
We're getting busy.
Awesome. Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate it. In circle number 2, this is probably the spot I should have had people guess on, because this guy hasn't been on the show in like over a year, maybe even longer. And I don't know what the reason is. It could be just because he doesn't like me. It could just be it's not that. Come on. It could be he's lazy, or it just could be he lives in an entirely different country in a different time zone. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back Matthew Slyn Shady in the house. Slyn, what's up, buddy? How you been, man? Good to see you.
Mr. Axis, very good to see you. I'm currently recovering from a rather heavy drinking session at the weekend. Girlfriend's birthday, So
I know how that is. Not the girlfriend's birthday part, but the heavy drinking part.
And I managed to smash my phone and break my laptop charger at the same time.
Whoa.
So I didn't see any games, so I've had to catch up on highlights. So if my assessment isn't as detailed as one might want,
then we can just blame the highlight.
That's my excuse.
Yeah, we can just blame the highlight people. Then they didn't do their job well enough for you to do the show. That's
perfect. they've got to step up for people like me.
Yeah, what's wrong? What's wrong with them? All right, Slyn, welcome back, man. Good to see you.
Thank you very much, Dave. Great to be back.
All right, folks. In the third circle is somebody who's been on a couple shows already this season, and his team is having a great season. He is the co-owner of Minnesota, and he is back for another show, folks. Axel Raven in the house. Axel, what's going on, bro?
Hey, Dave. Doing well. I appreciate the love and support there.
I appreciate you being on here. By the way, everybody, How does everybody sound, and how do I sound? Is anybody loud? Is anybody too low? I think my microphone situations are all good to go. I don't know. Who's talking shit, Cam? Oh, he brought the trash talk shirt. Oh, what's the trash talk? Oh, Axel did. Let's see it, Axel. Bring it on, baby. Stomp Indy with the check engine light.
Yep.
That's awesome. All right, folks. This is the time for you to have a chance to win some Axis swag. You got about 30 seconds to start guessing who is tonight's guest, special surprise guest host. Let's start seeing the guesses in there. Let's see. Gunny, nope. Ray, nope. Hold on. I got to try to find this cover, too, while you guys are guessing real quick. There it is. Ray, no. Eagle, no. Art, no. Mike All, no. Mike and Proda, yes. Eddie Gage, no. Bullet, it's not you, bro. It's not you. Yogi, no. Eddie, no. Winkler, no. Nobody's going to guess this, says Frank. My guess is Jack Wall. Paulie. Oh, that's a good guess. Paulie. Chat in chat. Cam on camera. Cam in chat. Cam on camera. What does that mean, Doug Britton? I don't even know. Ramos. Nope. Ramos has already been here. Oh, no. Ramos was on. Oh, no. He was in the owner's box, which we will have the owner's box tonight as well again. Harish from India. That would be amazing. Matthias, no. MSG, no. Chad Rowland, no. Here we go, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from beautiful. Well, technically he's not from here, but we'll say all the way from beautiful. See how I'm stalling? Seattle via Oklahoma, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Mr. Doug Day is in the house. Doug, what's up, buddy? How you been, man? Oh, shit. You're muted, bro. Already?
I almost.
Way to start the show, Dougie.
What's up, SFL?
Oh, my goodness. Hey, and just as I announced you, we got a hype train, Doug. What's up with that? Beautiful.
Hey, somebody knew I was coming
I
in,
guess
so they got all hyped up.
Hey, Jay Ballmer just guessed Dougie. Good guess, Jay, after the fact. That's nice. Dougie, what have you been up to, bro? What's the latest, man?
Just a lot of working, a lot of this, a lot of that. Hanging out with T tonight, just chilling.
Good. I'm glad to see. I saw her in the chat as well.
Yep. Figured I'd break out a little Dave Axis one of a kind.
Oh, beautiful.
Got it at the convention last year.
Yeah, you had to. What do you call it? Bid on that or whatever, right?
Yeah, it was nasty, man. There was a lot of people wanting this.
That's
Axis
the only.
flag.
Do you know that's the only one in existence right now? Unless somebody's bought one I don't know of. That's the only one of those in existence in the entire world.
And of course, I had to roll
Axis Live, dude.
Axis Live.
Dougie, 8 billion people on the planet. You're the only one with that hat, bro. You're 1 in 8 billion. That's what I always say to Dougie.
Beautiful.
All right, Doug. Thanks for being here, bro. Appreciate it, man. And the koozie. You're all decked out for tonight. Look at that. That's awesome. All right, folks. So before we go to Bullet is back, by the way. Thank God. Bullet is feeling better. He's back here tonight. But before we go to Bullet, I want to hype up a couple other leagues that a lot of us from the SFL are in. They're kind of crossover stuff. We've talked a lot about goals the last couple of weeks, and I just want to thank Doug Britton. He sent me this goals hat, and hold on, I want to make sure, dude, cannot spill this on my keyboard, and this goals mug that I get to drink my water out of. And if you have not, why isn't the goals command working there, Holdorf? If you guys want to play some sim hockey, go check out goals. It's a great league led over there by Tom Krieg and by Doug Britton and a couple other guys. With that being said, there's another league starting back up that's a sim soccer league. If you like soccer and you want to play sim soccer, you might want to go check this out right here. right, folks, there you go. That is I'm going to put this in here. Hold on if I got it. There's a Discord invite if you guys are interested in hockey or soccer sim leagues. There you go. And yes, Jack Wall, we all agree the SFL is the godfather of all sim leagues. But you know what? Sometimes it's fun to play in some other sports too. So we're all SFL people here, but sometimes we like to go play some hockey or play some soccer or something. So anyway, the Soccer Simulation Federation, and there is the Discord invite if you're interested. Next week, we're going to do a hype video for goals. They're going to send something, so we'll set that up for next week. That being said, it's time to bring my man on, Bullet Boletsky. Bullet, first and foremost, bro, how you feeling, man?
Feeling great, Dave. Glad to be back.
You know what? Hold on. I got you way too low. One more time.
Feels good, Dave. Glad to be here.
Good.
Glad to be back.
Are you feeling healthy?
Feeling healthy.
Good.
Had a little scare there, but all is well.
Good. Glad to hear that. We missed you, but you've had a couple weeks off now, so I'm glad you're feeling a little better. And you know what that usually means? When you take some time off, it means extra bullet points, right? So we have how many tonight? 7?
There's 7.
And this is from...
There could have been... Yeah, there could have been more. It was from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, from 2 weeks ago. There probably could have been 15 of these, but I appreciate you cutting it to 7. So here we go. Bullet point number 1. This is from 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, yep.
2 weeks. So that was after week... What are we going into? Week 7. So after week 4 games?
I think maybe after week 5 games. I don't remember,
week
man.
4.
It's been so long.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Somebody that's better at math than us can figure that shit out. But, all right, here we go. Bullet point number 1 from 2 weeks ago.
Okay, from 2 weeks ago. All right. Dave muted himself right out of the gate before he even had a chance to do his intro. I'm gone for 2 weeks, and the quality of the show goes into the toilet. Come on, Dave. Be better.
Bro, I don't even know what to say about that. Just shit happens sometimes. Bullet point number 2.
Number 2. When Dave was talking to Bo about the Doritos he was eating, we learned a few interesting things. Nacho cheese and cream cheese and salsa is the 7th or 8th best thing that Dave has ever had in his mouth. And that if you ever need Bo to commit a crime for you, he will gladly take Doritos as payment instead of money. Facts.
I'm not even commenting on that. Bullet point number 3.
Okay. Number 3. When introducing Corey Menner like a moth to a flame, Dave was fixated on Corey's phenomenal mustache and spoke about it for a few minutes. Now, this is the kind of content the SFL needs.
I agree. I mean, we could have a whole show on mustaches and beards and all that stuff. I don't have an issue with that, actually. Bullet point number 4.
Number 4. T-Roy, the consummate professional, actually muted himself for the very first time, and Tyler was beside himself with glee as it got the focus temporarily off him and his scathing 2-10 Florida prediction earlier in the show, which on a personal note, I'm hoping he regretted immediately and has since repented for it by washing his own mouth out with soap.
Now, I don't remember this exactly since it was a couple weeks ago, but didn't he, was it him or was it Bo or somebody that predicted Florida would now not make the playoffs?
I think definitely Tyler. I
Was
think
it Tyler?
Bo as well.
Well, Tyler's going to be back on the show, I think, next week or the week after, so we can ask him about that. Bullet point number 5.
Number 5. Okay. Bo was not shy about telling everyone how much he hates Kevin Say, but yet he couldn't stop talking about how Say explodes all over him and the artillery every time they play. In a related comment that Jack Wall was more than happy to point out in the chat, Bo said that Mexico City has an excellent staff ready to explode. Not sure what's going on with Bo, and I'm not sure why Jack was so into that quote.
Bo even has his own command in the chat, by the way. So if you do exclamation mark Bo, I think it's about the Matrix still, but I don't know, Bullet. I'm thinking we might have to change that. Bullet point number 6.
Number 6. During Gunny's Firewatch segment, he mentioned that he likes munching on Bucky's beaver nuggets. I'm not sure if that was a metaphor or not, but regardless, I think Bo and Gunny might have shared some psychotropic drugs this past week.
Dude, I'm a big fan of Bucky's, man. Lisa and I, the closest Bucky's to us, Bullet, is like an hour away, and we go there just to pick up like the nuggets and Cheetos and all the stuff that you can only get at Bucky's. That's how phenomenal it is. Bullet point number 7.
Number 7. Bo described Motor City's play so far this season to the drunken master fighting
That
style,
was funny.
which had Dave in absolute stitches. He was literally laughing so hard that he was crying,
I
and a
was.
crying Dave is an entertaining Dave.
Yes.
Well done, Bo.
Dude, I opened the show up tonight talking about how I got emotional about selling a car. That's a
Yeah.
sad crying. Last show I was happy crying. I got to stop this crying shit, Bullet. I don't know.
Yeah, man. By the way, where's the closest Buc-ee's to New York City? Because I think I need to go.
Probably
Right? What do I have to fly to it,
somewhere.
like Atlanta or something
No,
like that?
no, no,
Like,
no.
yeah,
I think there might be one like Virginia, maybe, or something.
Virginia.
Yeah, maybe. I'd say that's probably about as far north as they go.
All right,
So-
I got to check it out. You guys have been talking about it for 2 years, so
Well, the
like,
next time Lisa and I go, which is going to be soon, I'll do a video. We'll play the video on the show so you can check out what a Buc-ee's looks like.
sounds good,
All
Dave.
right, awesome. Bullet, thanks for being here. Welcome back. Glad you're feeling better, bro. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
You got it, bro. All right, folks. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, I do not have power rankings this week. I didn't have time to reach out to Hunter to get them. So we're going to go right into our divisional breakdowns. We're going to start with Frank the Franchise Wade. He'll give a few minutes breakdown, and Doug, you'll ask him a question. And then Frank will wrap it up, and we'll move on to Slyn, so on and so forth, like we do every week. So, Frank, the South Division, huge win for Alamo City. There's been a couple shows recently that people, at the beginning of the season, that people were like, what's wrong with Mexico City? Obviously, there's absolutely nothing wrong with Mexico City now. Tell us how these teams played this weekend in the South.
Well, Mexico City, they lead the division at 4-2. You got Fort Worth and Alamo City are sitting there and battling for second, and you got Houston down at the bottom. The surprise to me here is what Mexico City has done in these past couple of weeks with the offense that's in the middle of the pack, the defense, also in the middle of the pack, but is leading the division. Coming into the draft with Jordan Sipe, I told everybody that I was a big Jordan Sipe fan. He ends up in Mexico City filling big shoes, and I think he's doing a very good job of handling the offense and directing the team down the field like he should. There's not a lot asked of him to do because they've got two very talented running backs and a receiving core that's pretty decent. Their defensive line is one of the toughest I think that we've faced. It showed whenever we were playing them. I wish it was a game we could have pulled out, but unfortunately, Mexico City was able to come out on top on that. Houston is first in total yards on offense, but not finding the end zone like they should. They're ranked 21st overall on offense. Fort Worth is 3-1 in their last 4 games, and they're starting to heat up. They're 9th in points scored. Alamo City's quarterback is leading the division. My quarterback, Ace. Is leading the division in passing yards with just over 1,400 yards. Now, you have to forgive me for my stats. I was going on what I was seeing this afternoon, and I'm not sure if they're updated or not, but he does have over 1,400 yards. Phoenix Jones leading the division in rushing with 569 yards, and Stephen Hacker 7th in the league overall in receiving yards with 464. The Artillery has the division leader in touchdowns with Brad Jones, and you got Albert Begin and Jay Mart each having 50 tackles, leading the division there. Mexico City's Dan Tritz has 4 sacks, and Albert Begin has 4 interceptions. If you look at the turnover differential and the margin of points of the games, they pretty much fall in place the way the division is. Turnover differential is +4 for Mexico City. Fort Worth and Alamo City are both -2, and Houston -5, and it falls in order on how the division has lined up. Margin of points, Fort Worth is a +1, Mexico City is a -3. Fort Worth, every game that they've played has been double-digit win or loss. Mexico City, all their games have been within 3 to 5 points except for one. Alamo City is a -9, and Houston is a -17. The question at the start of the season was how quarterback position would be in Mexico. So far, I think the transition is fine. Jordan Sipe has fit in well, like I said earlier. The surprise of the division is the low point output for the headhunters. They have the weapons. They have been dominant on offense in the past seasons, but it's not transitioning to this season for some reason.
So before Dougie asks you a question, Frank, I want to update a couple things in the chat real quick. It looked Gunny tagged me in here and said that Albert Begin was wondering who was tonight Amish Mafia panelist, and as by looking at all of us, I mean, 3 of you are clean shaven, and I've only got a little goatee, so I guess it's got to go to Axel Raven. So Axel is part of the Amish Mafia this week. And then what was the other thing I was going to look at here? Oh yes, I fully 100% support the next SFL convention at a Buc-ee's. Dougie, what do you got for Frank over there?
So, Frank, so you're talking about Houston and them being in the at the bottom. Have we written off Houston yet, or are they still? Do they still have the possibility to be scary and make a push for the top?
I have not written them off yet. No, they're dug themselves in a hole, but they do have the weapons. Mike St. Green is going to have things in place to where they can probably go on a win streak. Hopefully, it's not against us, but they are a scary team. Their defense is still the ones they've had in the past, and they've been able to strike quickly with Dr. Sims and Mike St. Green there. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can get the right direction now and finish out the season.
Yeah, Houston now 1-4. We're not even halfway through the season, so anything can happen, Frank. I'm sure, but that's I don't think Houston expected to be 1-4. And just for those of you that will be sticking around 10 o'clock Eastern tonight for the segment of the Owners Box, we will have Houston's owners. We will have both Damon Simeon and Mike St. Green here, so maybe we can ask him about that. Frank, thanks for that breakdown. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, folks, moving on to the East. That is Slyn Shady's territory. Atlanta just crushing it, Slyn. Jacksonville with a hot start, but they've really cooled off. Louisiana hanging tough. And then, of course, the Florida story, but Florida's starting to win now. So tell us about this weekend in the East Division.
I mean, first of all, how do I follow that? I mean, Frank's got every stat in the world,
Frank
and I've got not.
There's a reason why he's called the franchise, bro. He's the franchise, man.
I have 0 stats other than maybe a score line.
Oh, you know what, Slyn? Here's the thing. I'm gonna call. Is Corey in the? If Corey's in the chat, I'm gonna blame Corey. Guy came on the show, Slyn, 2 weeks ago. He was our special surprise, our surprise co-host, and we raved about his mustache and all that stuff. And now he's not doing stats anymore. I don't know what's going on, but maybe all the fame is going to his head. What do you think?
Maybe he lost his mustache comb. I don't know. But
anyway,
I mean, to be fair, even if he had updated the stats, I probably wouldn't have any anyway. So
yeah, that's all right. Go ahead.
It's going to be easy not to be biased towards Louisiana this week because we had a bye.
Right.
So I'm sure we'll be able to manage that. And to be honest, not much changed in the East at all this week. Florida didn't play after they beat us in week 5. They had a bye as well. And they remain at the bottom of the standings at 1-4. And like you say, the East is kind of all about Atlanta at the minute. They look as close to their sort of season 14 form as I've seen them since that championship win. And the 13-point win over Sioux Falls just extends their unbeaten record, 5-0. I mean, they're running away with the division at the minute. They didn't have it all their own way in this game. Sioux Falls really came to play in the first half. They were ahead for much of it, and to be honest, they had Atlanta by the short and curlies for most of it. And then the second half came around, and the Swarm were just ruthless. Any turnover was punished with points. Moose Papineau had 3 turnovers, 3 interceptions in the third quarter
in one
alone.
Quarter, yeah.
Is that a record? I wanted to know
if Cam is still listening. Maybe Cam will know. Cam, is that a record?
For one quarter. And they just ran away with it in the third quarter. The fourth quarter, almost, there was no point really playing it because Atlanta had just built up such a lead in such a short space of time. They've got so much firepower on offense. And the defense has obviously been playing really well this season as well. So
wait a minute. Hey, I'm sorry, Cam, you're 38. No, I don't think there was 38 interceptions in one quarter, bro. What the question, Slyn, was the most interceptions in a quarter, if that was the record, right?
Yeah, if one player had got more than three.
Yeah, if one person having 3 interceptions in one quarter, Slyn. No. Yeah, no, Cam. Yeah, 3 interceptions in one quarter, if that's a record. Slyn, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, and then moving on to Jacksonville. I mean, the first play went for a loss, and that kind of sums it up, really. You know, offensively, it was dismal. 3 points in a game in the SFL, of all places, is obviously not what you want. Defensively, they did well. They kept Seattle to 10 points, but if you sat through the 5 minutes of highlights, there was just turnover after turnover after turnover. There's more turnovers than a bakery. You could even hear Ramos, who was commentating, I think, just losing the will to live as each turnover happened. His voice just got lower and lower with each one. And that's kind of all I've got to say about Jacksonville. I mean, they had a promising start to the season, but they've got a young team, and they're just struggling for consistency. And it's I guess it's to be expected when you've got so many rookies.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Jacksonville, right? So the surprise part was how they came out, I think, 2-0 to start the season or whatever.
Yeah.
Now they've kind of settled in. But my question to you for this division is about Atlanta. You already mentioned the fact that they look more like the season 14 team than at any time since then. As I'm looking things over, they've already beat Florida by 10. They've already destroyed Jacksonville, I think. And you guys haven't played them yet, have you?
No, we're kind of a bit of a bogey team for them, really.
So and I don't know who they play twice this season. I'm assuming it's Florida. If they're already running away with this division, and I think if they beat you guys in the first time or only time that you guys play, they're going to win the division.
Yeah.
Does it set them up nicely in the playoffs? Does it set them up nicely in the seeding? And do you see Atlanta possibly getting all the way up into that Arizona and Baltimore level of that we saw last season?
Well, I guess in theory, the higher you get in the seeding, the more likely you are to avoid Baltimore until the last 4 or the last game, which, if you want to get through the playoffs at this point in time, is probably the most important thing. If you've got to end up traveling to Baltimore or even have them coming to you, because maybe you've slipped down the seeding, then it's hard to say it wouldn't be game over. I mean, I can see Atlanta giving Baltimore a real go, and any given Sunday, that kind of attitude. But I can see them if they avoided Baltimore, I can see them going to the championship game on this form.
Yeah, I think. I agree with you. They look the best they've looked since season 14. And as a matter of fact, before we go over to Axel real quick here to talk about the Central Division, Slyn, I think it was the preseason show that we did right before week 1. I think it was Johnny. Might have been somebody else, but I'm pretty sure it was Johnny. Kind of ripped Atlanta a new one and talked about what happened to Atlanta. In season 14, they won the chip, and they've had the same players pretty much the entire time, and they've had a bunch of seasons where they haven't even made the playoffs, but now all of a sudden this season they're turning it around. I don't know what the recipe is for that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think was it after season 14 they lost Dunhill and he was their GM?
Yeah, he retired. He retired. Yeah.
Yeah, so he helped to sort of build that team not only as a quarterback but as a GM, and I think when you lose someone like that, then it's going to have an effect. But I don't know. Sometimes it just takes time. It just takes time, and in this league that you can go from nearly being undefeated to getting predicted to have 2 wins, which Tyler seems to do very successfully.
Poor Tyler. All right, Slade, thanks for breaking down the East. Let's move on to the Central. Axel, this is your division. We had a great Monday night game between you and your rival last Monday night, or Week 5 Monday night, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah, exactly.
And so, which was great. This division, though, I mean, Sioux Falls kind of, Atlanta handled them. Up until this week, I thought Sioux Falls was looking pretty impressive. Tulsa's having a great year. You guys are having a great year. Indianapolis, sorry, kind of slacking a little there. But overall, this division, very, very competitive. Tell us about how competitive it was this weekend.
Yeah. So there were two teams, Minnesota included, that had to bye this week. I'll mention them in a second. But yeah, Sioux Falls paired up against Atlanta. As Slyn was mentioning, it just seems like Sioux Falls, they could put together a quarter of good gameplay, but it seems like they fall apart. It's not very consistent, not able to close out games, or a lot of their scoring happens trying to come back into games in the fourth quarter, which tends to inflate some of the scoring or stats and things for their games. But really, it's they just really can't seem to hang on or do anything with a lead, even if they do get it early on in the game. And so they fell to 2-3 and match up or are even with Indianapolis, who last week fell to 2-3 as well. So those two, they're tied at the bottom of the division. So our two lowest teams have 2 wins. There are other divisions that have 0 or 1 in there as well. Tulsa beat LA over the weekend. JQ looked actually pretty decent, but really it was Brown and that defense for theirs coming out against LA gave them that win. They looked really good. Lots of TFLs versus Los Angeles. Their defense ended up having 15 tackle for loss in that game, which puts them at 3-2. It just one game above the 2-3s and 1 game below the 4-1 of Minnesota, who's on a bye. So Minnesota faces LA FLA, Florida. This next week. Who is, Minnesota can't really overlook them. Even with their standings right now, their record, they showed that they can win a game when they played last week. This is Minnesota's chance to legitimize and start to solidify that lead in the division, and if they can go 5-1, that'll be exciting for them. It's the first matchup between these two teams. And then Indy heads over to Portland. It's a good game, a good test for both of these teams to, again, can Indy take a step over or beyond Sioux Falls and match up then with Tulsa, sit in the middle of the division. If they can do that, because we're at or nearing that halfway point, right, of the season, and so it's time to start making those moves. And yeah, I think that's a must win for Indy coming off their bye against Portland.
Yeah. Right before Dougie asks you a question real quick, James Walters 87 in the chat saying it's pretty easy to look good against LA right now. Hopefully they right the ship soon. I think we all feel that way as well. But maybe Tulsa's win against LA not that great for the resume? I don't know. Dougie, what's your question for Axel?
Hey, Axel, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. So, with you guys hanging out at the top and Tulsa and Sioux Falls right kind of in the middle, right behind you, which of the two teams do you guys fear the most making a push to legitimately come after you guys for a playoff spot or the
in the division?
Yeah.
I think Tulsa's the one that's been able to put together complete games. And since we beat Indianapolis already, I think we've got them already cooked. Sioux Falls will face Sioux Falls again later on in the season. I think that's going to be a tough game. I think knowing who each other are, already having been played each other, we're gonna have to cook up something a little bit different, perhaps, and see what we can do in that game. And that game would be in Sioux Falls and not at home, so it's going to be a tougher game late in the season. So, Tulsa, again, like I said, Tulsa can put together a solid game. Sioux Falls right now is just struggling a little bit, but they can easily go from one to the other. Next week, fix that. So,
agreed. All right, Axel, thanks for that. We'll see you again in a few minutes. Moving on to the Pacific. We were just talking about LA, Dougie. This is your division, obviously. The division that before the season we talked about, it was Vancouver and everybody else. Well, it seems like Portland has a little something to say about that, and Seattle might even have a little something to say about that. How did this division break down this past weekend?
Well, this one's actually pretty easy this weekend because 2 out of the 4 had a bye
Had
week.
buys,
So
yeah.
yeah, so which is kind of scary because Portland's probably sitting back, retooling, resting up, ready to go. Um, Vancouver, Vancouver is never out of it. I mean, if you've been in the SFL long enough, Vancouver's got the firepower. They're going to come out. They're going to be like, okay, this is about enough of this crap. We're going to go, we're going to unleash hell. So, but Seattle, like I said, we're still, we got our 2 wins. Now we're going to go after some more. LA, LA is another one of those teams that could be scary in the second half because once they've kind of figured out, okay, this isn't working, their loss against I forget, I just spaced it. Sioux Falls, or was that Tulsa?
Wait, you talking about last week?
Yes,
Tulsa,
a couple days ago.
Tulsa.
They had I think there was a blocked punt, and it was just bad luck all around for LA. And I think once those guys, change a little here and there, I think they're going to come out. Sully's going to come out. Logan Jack, he's always dangerous coming out of the backfield, so you can't write those guys off. I mean, they've got a great defense, and it's just going to be an interesting finish to see what happens in our division. But we are definitely going to be pushing some people. Our guys are getting better. Our defense is solid, and don't write us out either. So it's going to be a fun one.
My question for you then is, you talked about your defense. You only gave up 3 points to Jacksonville, although Jacksonville is kind of in a rebuild. What was the other game? You just gave up 13 points or something a couple weeks ago to somebody. Is Seattle's only real chance, do you think, to make a push and get into playoffs is by having their defense step up? Because it seems like all your games are low scoring, right? Is defense going to be the key for Seattle to try to make a push, to try to make a run, to sneak into maybe one of those last wild card spots?
Defense wins championships. Once we get the offense back on track, and we have Baloo in the backfield. She right now actually has, I think, more yards than Warren Murray and a few other. So we're going to get her moving. We're going to get the wide receivers. We're going to get Pauly moved in there a little bit more like we did against LA. And we're going to open some eyes. So,
well, good luck.
We could push a lot of people. If not make the playoffs, we could definitely knock some people out of the playoffs.
Well, good luck in the second half. It'll be fun to watch for sure. And, to be honest with you, Dougie, 3 teams in the playoffs out of the Pacific I think is going to be a stretch. I think we all know Vancouver will probably make it, and it's going to come down to you or Portland. You guys haven't played Portland yet, have you?
No, we actually we play Portland. Portland's coming up, but I know we have LA again. So, and we've already lost to Vancouver. So,
right.
There's that.
All right, Dougie, thanks for breaking that down for us. Real quick, too, as we're going to get Gunny going here in just a minute. Cam in the chat asked Art Vandelay and Axel Raven, and I'm just going to kind of throw it out there if anybody wants to answer it. And for those of you in the chat, he asked, do you like playing a team who also came off a bye? Is that an improvement to the schedule, or is there any other disadvantage? Me personally, I would rather play a team that played already, didn't have that extra week to prepare like I did. But Axel or any of you guys want to answer that real quick, and then we'll go to Gunny?
Yeah, for me, I popped in the chat, but it gives a lot of time to to overreact or overthink things when you don't get any new information. You're sitting on that same stuff for 2 weeks, and yeah, maybe you had a good plan to come this last Saturday or Monday or something, and you're like, but is that really the best plan? And you keep, you still use that time. It's hard to step away. So.
Well, I'd rather, to be honest with you, and maybe Frank, I'll ask you real quick. I would rather play a team that had to prepare for somebody else the week prior than them having 2 weeks to prepare against me. What do you think?
I agree with that. My question was, or not my question, but my thought was, they've got 2 weeks to change their game plan by so many plays. So it's almost like you're playing somebody at the start of the season when you don't know, what their playbook is like.
That's a good point.
So that was my thought.
That's a really good point.
Actually, I don't think you can change. We don't get a chance to submit a playbook in between on our bye week. So
is that
we've
right?
We've only got the 20 changes.
Oh, so you only get to change it once. You don't get to change it twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. That's good.
So at least that keeps it consistent.
You're right. Right. Oh, yeah. Jack Wall just asked that question as you were answering it too. Perfect. All right. Let's move on to Gunny's Fire Watch. Gunny, what's going on, buddy? How you been, man?
I'm good. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm doing outstanding. I've got your music queued up and ready to go, so you can start whenever you're ready, bro.
All right. First of all, Doug Day, please tell Mr. David Harrell that Gunny sends his best to him in Seattle. We're going to go over some who's you got for overall this season. Who's hot and who's not. Week 1, who you got was 8-6. Second week, 9-4. Week 3, 7-6. Week 4, 7-4. Week 5, 7-4. And week 6, 8-3. Overall record of 46-27 through 73 games this season. If you do home and away games in week 1, it was 12-2. Week 2 was 8-5. Week 3 was 7-6. Week 4 was 3-8. Week 5 was 3-8. And this past week, week 6, it was 10 home wins and one away win. The one away was Baltimore at Houston. Overall, through the 73 games of the season, home teams have won 43 games, away teams 30. Out of the 28 teams, we have 3 teams with 5 wins, 4 teams with 4 wins, 8 teams with 3 wins, 8 teams with 2 wins, 3 teams with 1 win, and we have 2 teams with 0 wins so far for the season. The who you got's the biggest point spread underdogs that made upsets in week 1 by a spread of 133. Indiana upset Florida. In week 2, with an upset of 73 points, Louisiana was upset by Sioux Falls 30-21. Week 3, the 88 was the spread. Houston won 17-6, and it was 128-40. In week 5, it was 127-37, shared by 2 games, London and Canton, with Canton winning, and San Diego and Las Vegas, with Las Vegas winning. In week 5, the point spread was 79. Vancouver had 120. Portland had 41. Portland came out with the upset. And this past week, it was Arizona and Las Vegas, 117-40. That's a 77-point spread. Las Vegas came out with a win. Some teams that are on some hot streaks, not counting the 0-5 teams or the 5-0 teams. Portland is on a 3-game winning streak. Mexico City also on a 3-game winning streak. Jacksonville on a 3-game losing streak after starting the season 2-0. Las Vegas on a 3-game winning streak. And Charleston on a 4-game losing streak after they opening game win early in the season. Dave, that's the quick version. Good luck to everyone in this coming weekend's games. And that is all.
Awesome. Thank you, Gunny. Appreciate it. Folks, that's Gunny's Fire Watch. Week to week, he lets us know who's on fire and who to watch. Gunny, appreciate it. We'll see you next week, buddy. Moving on to our West Division. Frank, I don't even want to talk about this division right now, but I don't know what's going on in the West. I mean, you got an Arizona team that finally lost. You got a surprising Las Vegas team. that's just beating everybody. Denver's winning, and a hot San Diego team has now lost 2 in a row. This division's all over the place. Tell us about this was this week 6, right? This was week 6.
Correct. This is this to me. This division is becoming the most interesting division. Like you said, Arizona finally loses. You know, they were people were starting to think they were going to run off with it, but Las Vegas had a lot to say with that. Say about that this past weekend. And I don't know if you'd call that an upset because Las Vegas has been a team that's just been on the cusp of doing something big. But it was a good game to watch. The Scorpions are first in the league in offense. Their defense is towards the bottom, though. That's what's kind of hurting them right now. Las Vegas is 5th in offense and 23rd in defense. I'm happy for my buddies in Las Vegas, Doug Britton and Scott Johnson. We came into the league together in season 15, and they've stayed true to Vegas all these seasons. And like I said, they've been close to really becoming a team to reckon with. San Diego is 7th in offense and in the middle of the pack on defense. Just out of the top 10 on offense is Denver. They're ranked 12th, but they're ranked 4th on defense. So, but Ashley Jackson is leading the league in yards thrown. She's over 1,600 yards and 14 touchdowns. DJ Moses is 2nd in the league in rushing, has 10 total touchdowns. Connor Weston leads the division in receiving yards. And my old teammate, B.E. Robo, leads the division with 5 receiving touchdowns. San Diego, Las Vegas, Arizona are all in the top 5 in points scored, with Denver sitting at 13. Denver is ranked 8th in points against. That goes well with the number 4 ranked defense. What is not surprising is that Arizona is at top of the division right now. They've scored more points than anyone right now, but Las Vegas and San Diego have played 1 less game, and they are averaging more points per game. Las Vegas made a statement this past weekend. To me, the surprise team is San Diego. It's not a shocker that you, Dave, and company have changed things up, but with the infusion of key free agents, the turnaround has been quick. If it wasn't for a backup quarterback going off on one drive, you'd be sitting at 4-1.
I don't even want to talk about that right now.
Well, I knew you didn't, so I thought I'd mention it. Scar Patterson isn't exactly lighting up the stats, but he's thrown more touchdowns than interceptions, which in this league is a big positive. The turnover differential is +8. The only team that is better than that is Baltimore. This has become one of the most interesting divisions with this tight race. 3 of the 4 teams in the top 10 of offense production, and the 4th team having the number 4 defense. This one is going to be interesting as the season goes on. There's a possibility that I think San Diego, Las Vegas, and Arizona all make the playoffs.
That would be something else. You know, that would be something else. That would be pretty awesome, actually. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happens too. Doug, what do you got for Frank?
So with that statement of those teams making the playoffs, who takes the division?
Well, that's the interesting part, because you got Vegas beating Arizona, and Dave, have y'all played Arizona yet?
No, but Vegas beat us too. Vegas has beat us and Arizona so far.
Back-to-back weeks, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so Vegas has beat San Diego and Arizona, and then the game that I'm looking forward to is Arizona and San Diego. That's going to be an interesting game. I think whoever wins that has a good shot at maybe taking the division.
The issue is that Vegas already has tiebreakers, right? Oh, no, Vegas and Arizona, I think, played twice this season, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe that won't be a tiebreaker after all. But, Frank, you got to admit, Vegas beating Arizona and San Diego. And actually, I think it was 2 out of 3 weeks because I think we had a bye or something. But
okay,
or whatever it was. But regardless, that's pretty impressive. And you know, like you said, our buddy Doug Britton, he tore us up, man.
I'm happy for Doug. Like I said, Scott, they just, like I said, they have stayed with that team. And stayed true and progressed like they've been told, and they're good locker room guys. They're good teammates, and you know, it's good to have those guys on a winning track.
Definitely happy for John Bond over there too. He's a good guy. All right, moving on to the North. We've got the North and then the Atlantic, and then we are going to have the owners from Houston on for our segment of the Owners Box. But before those two things happen, Slyn, the North Division, Canton gets a huge win, first of all. London's been up and down. That's probably, I think London, maybe the most interesting team in this division. Last week, I think it was Bo. Who was it they called Motor City? That whole what was that called? Drunken
Master.
Drunken Master, yeah. And then and we know Queen City's in a rebuild, so I don't think Queen City really has a lot of expectations. So how did they all do in week 6?
Well, like you say, it's one of the weakest divisions in terms of team records, which kind of makes it more exciting, really, because everyone's so close. I mean, even Queen City, who are 0-5, have technically got a chance of winning the division still. Even it's unlikely to happen, but
that's
they've
crazy.
technically got a chance.
Yeah.
And to be honest, they're close. I mean, a lot of their losses, and even going back to last season, I think a lot of their losses are really close games. So they're not far off. And yet again, they lost a close game this week to Motor City, which is even more damning because it's a division game. But it was annoying because it was from an easily winnable position as well. They kind of looked in charge of it when in the third quarter Ted Haynes forced a fumble, and they regained possession. Before that, GB Wallace had taken back that spectacular 100+ yard interception, which again, is there a record there? Is that a record? 103, 104 yards?
I don't know if Cam is still listening, but I don't know if he's 0 for 1 with records so far tonight, bud.
I mean, great for the rookie on a personal level. And then they scored a touchdown later on. James Matthew Jr., probably one of the bright sparks on the Queen City team, to make it 17-6 heading into the final part of the game. And then it all kind of fell apart. They muffed a fair catch off a punt when the retreating Queen City player, the blocker, it hit him on the shoulder, and then Motor City recovered it in the red zone. And then they missed a field goal. The kicker didn't quite have the range. And to Motor City's credit, that drunken master style, they were battered the whole game, getting punched, and then they come with a knockout blow at the end, and a later Rain Derby touchdown to win the game 2017. So, you've got to take your chances in this league, and Motor City did just that, and Queen City just can't seem to take the chances and get the points. Stay ahead when they need to. Moving slightly further up the division, you've got London and Canton. Canton went 3-2 after the narrow 16-13 win, after the obviously the backup QB shocking everyone and leading a game-winning field goal drive to beat an unnamed team.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Yeah. I thought I'd be respectful after Frank ripped your heart out.
Frank just doesn't care.
And it was a pretty again a low scoring game. And I think in Canton they just seem to have an ability. I think they've got pretty good defense, and they almost have the opposite of Queen City, where they just have this ability to pull out a win from somewhere when it seems unlikely. London's game was just crazy though. It was completely opposite against Denver. They move up to 2-3. I mean, it was a game where the defenses seemed to be practicing social distancing. No one wanted to make a tackle. The offenses were just, scoring at will, and it ended up 52-38, which was the final score.
Yeah, wasn't it tied 31-31 at one point too? And then all of a sudden, London just blew it up.
London's defense finally showed up in the last sort of 2 minutes. It kind of just, obviously, they just decided, you know what, we're sick of conceding yards. We'll just take the ball off Denver and then stop them scoring. And that's when they opened up the gap. Robert Merrill, it was nice to see him looking more like his MVP winning self. And like I say, when it mattered, the Knights' defense did show up, although going forward, you can't expect to keep conceding 38 points at home if you want to make the playoffs.
Agreed.
It's not a recipe for success. And I know they've got a really good offense when it needs to be, but it just puts too much pressure on the offense each week to do that. So if they want another really successful season in the playoffs. They need to clean that up pretty quickly.
Let me ask you this, Lynn. I'm looking at the standings right now. Canton's 3-2, London 2-3. Is Motor City 2-4? They haven't had a bye yet.
Yeah, they've played their 2-4.
Okay. Let's say it comes down to London and Canton. London already they beat Canton week 1, I believe, right? So they already have the tiebreaker over Canton. I'm not sure if they play again. They probably do. But, London has struggled out the gate, but now they kind of seem like you said, they're giving up too many points at home, but they're scoring a lot of points, which is kind of what they've done before. Yeah. It's just outscoring people. That's how they did it last season. Is this still their division to win, especially now that they have a game over Canton head-to-head, or do you think this is Canton's division to lose?
I'm on the fence because on the one hand they might have the nod over Canton, as in when those two play, styles make fights. Their style seems to just, they manage to score enough points and beat Canton, who maybe don't score as many points as they should.
Right.
But then when they come up against teams outside of the division who score a lot of points regularly, if your record isn't anywhere close to the playoffs or winning the division anyway, then it doesn't matter. The games against Canton become irrelevant.
Right.
So I think obviously we'll know more in the next couple of weeks. I don't want to make a prediction on that one, to be honest, Dave. I think if it came down to the nitty gritty, I think London would have the nod because of the results against Canton. But
right.
they need to. I think they need to clean up the defense. I know they can score a lot of points, but it's just, for me, it just doesn't breed success when you're conceding that many points.
Yeah. Doug Britton, you said I was fading out. Am I okay now? I'd move the microphone. All right, Slyn, thanks for breaking that down. I agree with you, though. I think London slight advantage over Canton right now. But I hope that they do play again. I think they do. I'd love to see the rematch between those two teams. All right, folks, on to our last division before we get to the owner's box. This is the Atlantic Division. Axel, I don't even know what to think about this. Carolina's been playing great. DC is a roller coaster, bro. And, Baltimore's Baltimore. Tell us about this weekend, and then we can chat a little bit about the overall division.
Sure. All right. So Baltimore, the Vultures decapitated Houston over the weekend, leaving them.
Wait a minute. Was that a headhunter joke?
Yes. Had to do it. Ben Stack and Paper on the defense over there in Baltimore were taking on. They took Bird down a handful of times and got in that backfield. TFL's taken down both running backs. I believe one of them got injured. And so it was Baltimore showing off what they can do. And Shark Tarkington ended up so he's 273 field goals made. But yeah, Baltimore's looking as good as can be. Carolina, close one. They're 3-2 now, but they're playing pretty well. There was a timeout and a challenge was really the one difference maybe between how that game played out one way or the other. I think it was like the 3 or 5 yard line as time ticked to 3-0. But they've been the best looking, most balanced Carolina team in recent seasons. So they have a lot to be proud of. But looking ahead to what they're going to be facing, they're facing coming up Vegas, Arizona, the Mavericks, and Baltimore. So a super hard schedule ahead of them. So they have a lot to look forward to coming up in the coming weeks. The Dragons, 1 step forward, 2 steps back.
Yeah,
and
it's
it literally
crazy, bro.
It seemed like synergy. He was being taken down in the backfield. He would step forward, and then they would like fall. They would just be losing yardage, whether it's that or TFLs in the game. They played a solid first half. They got up over Mexico City, and then they struggled in the second half. And they just couldn't finish it out. Execution just wasn't there in that second half. The question is there enough time to turn it around? We're about the halfway point. And the other question is, will they, even if they have time, will they have the ability to turn it around? And then, finally CHS, Charleston. They're looking competitive, even being 1-5 right now. Fort Worth was they were in the game against Fort Worth throughout most of the game. Saren Storm looked pretty good. Offense looked pretty decent. The defense just could not control the game. Like they were just at the mercy of Fort Worth for the majority of the last 3/4 of the game. Let's see, they took another loss, adding on to their 5-game losing streak, sadly. But again, they're not playing really poorly.
Just they can't get over that hump.
Yeah. There's just something that's keeping them from succeeding. You know, one game it might be the defense not being good enough. The other game might be the offense not being good enough. But if they can get things coming together, that would be the game difference.
Before Dougie asks you a question, I want to say what's up to Dwayne in the chat. Dwayne, better late than never. Good to see you, buddy. And also, I was just DMing with Twin Screw. Slyn, real quick, sorry. In my head, I had week 1, London and Canton. It was Arizona that beat Canton week 1. Canton actually beat London week 4, and then they play again later this season. Does that change your mind about the question I asked you before we get to Dougie asking Axel a question?
Well, I was on the fence. I think it was you, Dave, that were throwing out the.
You said you gave the slight edge to London, but knowing now that London lost, I can play the tape back, bro.
You got the receipts.
I got receipts.
I'm going to stick by what I said.
Jack Walls telling me, look at the chat, bro. I can't see everything in the chat, but I can see when somebody pings me on Discord. So, Dougie, what do you got for Axel about the Atlantic Division?
Axel, you again. So with Baltimore, do you feel? Well, let's go this route. Do you feel any of the top teams? We're talking like Arizona. Who am I looking at? Arizona, Atlanta, you guys. Is there anybody that can possibly dethrone these guys? What are we looking at?
Well, I'm trying to remember who it was that was the last team to beat Baltimore, but it's drawing a blank.
It was somebody in week 11 or something from last season.
Minnesota did. That's right.
Wait a minute. Is that what it was?
Yeah. No, I think it's a possibility, and I think it. You know, I don't think it's going to be like would be a huge victory. I think it's would a team be able to play at the top of their performance, be able to game plan, make the right guesses for what Baltimore is going to bring, as well as Baltimore just not executing as well as they can. Maybe it's like some sort of incongruent playbook item, which again seems like it's, you know, it feels like it's totally out of the realm that TJ and T-Pat would ever have some sort of incongruent, you know, offense defense playbook kind of thing. But I think it would have to be some sort of multiple points would have to sort of fail and or succeed for the other team for that to happen. But I do definitely think it's possible. And like Slyn said, any given sim day kind of thing, you know, it's possible. You know, AI or the APF has some things, you know, it could come out. So I think it's possible.
It's possible. Not likely, but possible. So you're telling me there's a chance.
That's exactly it.
Real quick, I just want to throw a quick shout out to Mike Twinscrew for letting me know about the Canton win, since nobody mentioned it in the chat. All right, moving on. Thank you, Axel. I appreciate that, buddy. Let's bring in some owners. The next segment, I'm done with you, Dave. The next segment. Oh, I forgot to change the icon. Oh, I'm so dumb. Hold on a second. Let's do this. Hold on. I got an idea. Let's just get rid of that. All right, folks. The next segment of the owner's box. I told you guys I had a lot of stuff I didn't get done today. And apparently that was one of them. I want to welcome to the show the two owners of the formerly the Houston Hyenas, now the Houston Headhunters, DR Sim, Damon Simeon, and Mike St. Green, both in the house tonight. You guys, how you doing? Welcome to the show. What's going on?
What's up?
I'm going to turn you up a little bit, Damon. Hold on a second there, bro. All right, Damon, go ahead. Let me hear you.
What's going on, Dave?
What's going on, bro? How you been, man?
Cooling. Cooling, man. That's all.
Good. That's good. That's good. Mike St. Green in the house. What's going on with you, buddy?
What's good, Dave? How are things going?
Going really well, man. Going really well. Enjoying this season 20. I can't believe, I was looking. I don't know if you guys didn't probably hear the beginning of the show. I was talking about we sold our family car today that we bought in 2013, and just as I was saying that, I happened to look at the banner that I put behind me tonight, and it's the season 20 banner, and it says 2013. I bought this is how long the SFL has been around, since I was like dragging my kids to football practice and picking them up from camp. It's been a crazy 10 years, Mike. I'm telling you this. And what's great about this Owner's Box segment is having you guys come in and letting us know about things back in the day. So, Damon, let me start with you, bro. For the people that don't know, how did you hear about the SFL? When did you start playing? When did you become an owner?
I came across the SFL on YouTube. I want to say this was either late 2013 or 2014 or so. No, it wasn't 2014 because I can remember the job I was working at and the position I was in. I was always searching APF because there was like a small community that was still playing APF at that time. And there was quite a few guys on YouTube that were still making videos about APF. And I was also part of a few leagues. One, I was part of TJ League. And like I said, I was just searching APF and I came across, I think it was like season 2 or season 3 SFL week 3 highlights. And I must have went through every darn highlight that Cam had because I could not stop listening to his voice.
He's got that voice, man.
That's hard to say for a man to another man, right?
But you just said it on live television.
Yeah, I did. I mean, but he has. Okay, I'll tell you this, Dave. I have a short attention span. If you don't grasp my attention within maybe 5 seconds or so of you talking about a product that I like and I care about, you lost me, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure that's with anybody. If you're watching anything and it doesn't grasp your attention right away, you're gonna move on to the next thing. So it grasped my attention. His voice is really what kept me around. And like I said, that's how I came across the league. I was in TJ's user league, player versus player league, CAG, which is Casual Adult Gamers. And TJ ended up finding the SFL as well. And he said, hey, I found this CPU versus CPU game. League. Any guys here who would like to have a player on my team or so, let me know. I really wasn't into it at the beginning. I watched the first season and I was like, this is pretty interesting. I probably could really get into it. So I end up joining TJ's team in season 5, as a rookie wide receiver. So had a pretty productive season that year. I had 4 touchdowns in a playoff game or whatever, but we didn't make it to the championship that season, but I ended up getting my own team in season 6. Now, I put in a bid for it when there was an expansion in season 6.
And was that the Houston Hyenas?
Yes, it was. It was the Houston Hyenas. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me jump over to Mike real quick. Mike, you got here around the time I got here, I think. I got here at the end of season 13, and I think you came in, 14?
Yeah, it was probably early season 14 when I got involved. But first of all, let's take a step back. I pretty much kind of threw up in my mouth a little bit when he said he couldn't stop listening to Cam's voice. But anyway, the guy's been throwing me under the bus all season long, complaining about the non-competitive Monday night impact games, saying that I picked them all. But payback's coming, Dave, in week 10, I think, when you can flex games. I don't care who plays in this game. I just hope it's a blowout and bores everybody to tears because he's been throwing me under the bus all season long about non-competitive games.
That's awesome. Well, you know what? This forum is for you, Mike, tonight. Just for you, buddy.
But the guys pretty much had me censored all season long. So, you may not get the chance to shut me up tonight. But
that's all right. If Cam won't let you talk, you can air it all out here, buddy.
But no, man, came across the league just channel surfing one night actually. My cable provider came across the Houston Arizona game. So that was Arizona's first season. That was first, yeah. And
Wait, season 15?
so that
14.
was season
It
14.
was
Yeah, that
14.
had to be season 14.
Okay.
Yeah. So um, watched the entirety of that game. Pretty much researched the league from there. Interest was piqued. From the very beginning. A couple of weeks later, joined Arizona as a non-contract player and spent season 14, on their roster. And, pretty much the rest is history from there. But, just been attracted to the league from, first running across it. I don't know what year that was, a couple of years ago, 3, 4 years ago.
Yeah, Damon, let me go back to you real quick. First of all, in the chat, Dwayne just said that playoff game that you were talking about is the first SFL game that he ever saw as well. It seems like a lot of people I've been talking to on this segment all goes back to TJ bringing a lot of you guys in. Now, did you guys all play on the same teams back then? Because there was only a few teams, or were you all divided up?
Yeah, I mean, we all played on. I mean, like TJ started the vision of user players in this league because prior to TJ coming in, it was all created or made up name people. You had players like Parky Chaw. What else you had? You had Feather. Cam Dad had a quarterback named Feather something.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. It was some people back there with some crazy names back then. But yeah, so TJ brought in that vision, and Cam picked up on it right away. And when Cam wanted to move in that direction of having real people as the avatars that are taking place on the field, a lot of people that was around back then didn't like that move that Cam or that vision that Cam had to go that route. And some of those owners, end up folding their teams or selling their teams over or so forth. They stayed around for maybe about 2 seasons or so. And, the big say back then was that, they didn't really want to be bothered with the different attitudes of different players, people being in the locker room and being on their team that they would have to deal with or so.
Interesting. Which is all we do now. I mean, locker
Yeah.
rooms are humongous, right? I mean, not that we put up with them that way, but I meant
Locker room was small back then, so.
Right. Before I go back to Mike, let me ask you one more question, Damon. When you got your team in season 6, you said how many teams were in the league, and how did your team do those first few seasons?
Season 6 made it to the championship game. Started off, I want to say 4-1. We started off that season. Game 1, Cam called me up and he said, "Hey, guess who you got game 1?" I said, "Let me guess. Louisville." Louisville was the team that had the number 1 defense, who was like the bully of the SFL. And when I say they were the bully of the SFL, is that they had a defense that was so great. And it all started with the 2 knuckleheads they had up front. They were the first team to ever to play a defensive lineman on their squad. So they had 2 defensive linemen that caused havoc, to teams that was not putting offensive linemen on the field. So my first game as an owner, coach, or whatever was versus the Louisville Wolfpack. And we beat Louisville that game. I don't remember the score, sorry, but I do remember that my running back set the league rushing record for 324 yards in a single game, which was later broke years down the line by Overstreet, who was with London. Not Overstreet, I'm sorry, or Reggie Streeter. Overstreet was the running back for Louisville.
Wow.
Yeah, so that season 6, we did make it to the championship game, made it to the playoffs, played Tallahassee, went into overtime, beat Tallahassee in overtime, and met Louisville again in the semifinals and beat them in the semifinals to go into the championship game. And we lost by 11 points. I want to say 44-33 to the Queen City Corsairs.
And Queen City back then, was that during the run?
Oh yeah. That was during their heydays.
Yeah, when they were crushing everybody. Mike, let me bring you back in here, Mike. Like you said, you came in season 14-ish.
Yeah.
You started with Jacksonville as a wide receiver. Then you went to London. then
Yeah.
to Houston as an owner. Take me through, or take us through. That seems like a lot of stuff to do in a very short amount of time in the SFL. Kind of walk us through that real quick and how those things broke down, why you made those decisions, that kind of thing.
Okay, I'm going to get to that, but then a couple other observations I've had since I've been out of the loop
Are you
this
getting ready to
season.
throw Cam under the bus again?
No, I got to talk about Chad Rowland.
Oh, okay.
I've finally figured out why this guy, whenever he's on anything, he looks like he's been kidnapped and the Russian gazpacho, has a AK-47 or something pointed at him, and it looks like they're, funneling light into him so he can get a little bit of light.
He's like the hostage reading the note they're holding up in front of him.
Yeah, I mean the dude always looks like he barely has light or whatever. And I figured it out. The sun never shines in Indianapolis.
Oh snap! There
Never.
You just gave Axel more ammunition.
I passed through that town several times and the sun never shines there. But anyway, and one quick observation about your show, Dave.
Uh-oh. I
You
think you're about to be muted. I think you're about to be muted, bro.
You say see you at the tees.
Yes.
But that was when the show was on 2 days a week, and that was
right,
Tuesday and Thursday. Shouldn't it be just see you at the tee?
No, because I want you to tune in on Tuesdays on Twitch. Boom.
So I had that analogy.
Okay,
sorry,
I missed the new promo this season. I don't know, but anyway, but man, just to take you real quick through the whole Jacksonville, London to Houston process. I was a quarterback in the minors, first season of the minor leagues, but obviously drafted as a wide receiver back then. Young SFLers. That was during the time when you could. You had an option of switching or having a second position draftable at that particular time. So switched to receiver, was drafted in the second round by Jacksonville, and was a number three receiver over there for a couple of seasons. And basically London came calling, and after my second season, and obviously, as most people, you want to move up in the pecking order, and was offered a number 2 slot over there, and and thoroughly enjoyed my 2 seasons in London. And then ownership opportunity came up, and it's hard to pass up on that, especially when you could play in your hometown. And so that's pretty much how that process went, and here we are today.
So Damon, let me ask you then, moving into the Houston Headhunters, the branding change, Mike coming on board. Is this do you think a needed trend now? Because, if you go back to season 6, you could pretty much run your own team. You didn't have very many humans. Your locker room wasn't very big. With the amount of growth we've had, the size of the teams, how many teams, the scheduling, all that stuff, is it almost the trend now that you need the help, you need to take on extra ownership? And is that one of the reasons why you brought Mike on?
Yeah, you most definitely need to have additional help. Not much with ownership. I wouldn't say because there's not a lot going on, every week or so, within ownership or so. Mostly during the off season or so, when we do have the owners meetings or whatnot, especially when life is hectic for you. And like myself, I have a toddler, a 2-year-old, who needs a lot of attention.
Is he still 2? He's been 2 for like 2 years now.
He'll be 3 next month, Mike.
He's using that toddler. He's going to use that toddler excuse for like 4 or 5 years, bro.
I am, dude. I'm gonna ride it. I'm gonna ride it as long as I can. But going back, Dave, going back to season 10, I had a player on my team. Season 10 was the first start of the progression era, right? So I ended up bringing on a guy, Ryan Michaels, onto the squad. This one we didn't have a draft this season at all, so we had a lot of guys that was in the joined the league or whatever, and they basically their tiers or how their player would be ranked or value was off of their chat value. So if you chatted a lot and you had like a lot of, I don't know how they graded everyone's chat value or whatever, but they did it, and he had a nice value. So I brought him on as a cornerback, and the dude basically went in, read everything up on how to, this progression area was going to go. Came in, took the hymns right away. Say, hey man, if you need help with building players, I'll help you out. I just want to be a help to the team. But I'm going to make a long story short. He started to go over the rules of progression, start helping guys progress their players and so on like that. So I saw leadership in Ryan Michaels, and went to him and I said, hey, how would you like to be a general manager? And he said, what? I said, yeah. I said, I've been watching what you've been doing, and you basically took leadership and, helping out the players on the team, get their players build and going on and so forth or whatever. And he was just excited that I even came to him with such an offer. We didn't have general managers no one had a general manager. It's just that, one, I was in college at the time, and I was doing a lot of studying at night, as well as simming games and stuff like that, and scouting or whatever. And I really needed some additional help, outside of, what I was doing. And Ryan was a great help. And once I brought Ryan on as general manager, my DM started to flood from other owners. Hey man, what did your GM do? And I was got to breaking it down, what he does and how he helps out. And now you see every damn team got a GM.
Yeah. So wait, you were the first team that had a GM in the SFL?
Yes.
Wow.
To my knowledge of, I didn't know. I mean, other teams may have had one, but it probably wasn't public. But to my knowledge, I believe I was the first one to ever have a GM.
See that this show, not only fun and entertaining, it's educational, Damon. What do you know about that? We learn something every day here.
But back to your see you at the tees. I used to think when you made that that statement, I thought that you was talking about the golf course.
Well, it's a play, right? So because the show was Tuesdays, Thursdays, Twitch, I made it about golf because see you at the tees. But apparently it took a while for some people to catch on. And apparently Mike St. Green still hasn't freaking caught on. So, I mean, shit. Hey, how about Mike, how about I'll have the show today or tonight or tomorrow. Those are all tees too, so we can cover...
I was kind of thinking, see you next Tuesday. That's what I was thinking.
And with that, good night, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody's clipping that. Somebody is clipping that. That's going to be in Twitch. Somebody's clipping that. Oh shit! All right, let me bring. We talked about the past. Let's talk about the present and the future real quick with a couple last questions. A couple guys on the panel had some questions. And Slyn, do you want to ask him, or do you want me to read your question?
Well, I don't know if I dare now. Mike's uttered that
I
phrase.
know, right?
So,
Dude, I don't know what I'm afraid to say anything to Mike St. Green at this point. Shit.
I wanted to ask guys. So last week on Chad and Eddie's show, they asked the question whether Houston needed a coaching change, and I just wanted to see if you thought that was a fair question at this point, or whether you thought it was undeserved.
I guess I can go first on that because I did go on the show and speak about it. I would say this early in the season, no. But, I mean, if it was later in the season and, we was out of the playoffs, I can understand, because if you look at the build of our team, I mean, we have an outstanding, value within our offense. And I'm going to be honest, our offense is not playing up to par. And I take full responsibility as the offensive coordinator. I'm not going to get too far in depth into what happened or what's going on, but it's just that we just haven't been performing the way that we should according to the value of our offense. Salary cap wise. People talk. I've seen some guys talk about this team. Why they have this player with so many animations. To answer that, why are you concerned about it? As long as we're under the cap, why are you worried about how many animations does a player have or whatever? But it is disappointing that we're not at the point where we expected ourselves to be at this season. But according to the question that was asked, I don't think it was a fair question at the time of the season. When there's still a shot to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Frank has a question. Let's have Mike answer this one. Frank, what was your question for Mike and Damon? We'll have MS. Well, if we dare, we'll have Mike, I guess, answer this question. Shit.
Well, my question was, I know you've lost 2 games by 3 points, and I know you go into every game saying this is, we're going to win this one. Which one of those 2 games that you lost by 3 is a game that you considered a win? You knew it was going to be a win, but ended up getting away from you.
Both of them.
Both, and I thought that would be your answer, because if you win those 2 games, we're talking a different story here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
which two? I know Charleston, but what was the other 3-point loss?
DC.
DC.
Oh, DC, yeah. But the Charleston game in particular, we lost by 3, but they pretty much handled us that game. That was kind of a garbage time 3-point loss, if you had to say so. But of course you want to win all of them. But and I'll add this, far as the ownership thing, and why do you choose to bring on some another owner, and does that help out? I think it does. And with that being said, I'm a little, feel a little guilty this season because I pretty much have been an absentee owner of, taking on a new job, traveling a lot, not really being around. We lost a lot out of the scouting room with myself, and Greg Porky took on a job that he was not able to help out this season. So, with that being said, it's a lot on Demon's shoulders this season. It's a lot on that scouting room shoulders. So, but it's a lot of season left. We're looking to get some things turned around, and hopefully, we will the rest of the way. If I remember a couple of seasons ago in London, I think we were either 0-3 or 1-4 to start the season, turned things around and made the playoffs. So, it's still early, as Demond mentioned. Hopefully we can get some things turned around. And particularly offensively, I thought we played well. Defensively this past week, I think we really, I think we had about 4 or 5 turnovers against Baltimore, which is very rare to see. We got a lot of pressure on Wigmore up front, along with about 3 or 4 sacks. So defense is playing well. We clean some stuff up offensively. I think we'll be okay. The rest of the season, the schedule is not as hard, as far as upcoming opponents. Not, no disrespect to them, but it's just going to get easier. And we'll see if we can get things turned around here moving forward.
I'm going to have Dougie ask you guys the last question of the night, and either of you can answer. It doesn't matter to me, and then we'll wrap this up. Dougie, what do you got?
Hey, guys, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Doug? Twinkie.
Hey. So my question for you is, with you guys rebranding, from the Hyenas to the Headhunters and everything like that, I think that was a really great move for the league. With the new game coming up and the possibilities, and the sky is the limit kind of, how many teams do you think could possibly rebrand or update their look next season?
Shit, probably everybody. I mean, with so much you can do, there's so much you can do in that game. Editing and customization wise, it's crazy, man. But that's appealing to hear from you, Doug. That says that our rebrand had a huge effect on the league, and I must say that I do agree with you, because we received a lot of positive, comments from the brand. When Mike and I talked about, him coming over, I know how much Mike is a Houston guy. Mike bleeds every team in Houston. You poke him in the arm, the Texans will come out, the University of Houston Cougars will come out, the Oilers will fall out as well, the Astros, the Houston Arrows, the Sugarland Space Cowboys. Who else, Mike? The Sugarland Skeeters too?
I don't root for anybody with the name Cowboy, so I'm sorry. That's Sugarland loses out on that one.
Well, that's the Astros developmental team.
I don't care. It don't matter. They got to become Astros before I root for them.
But anywho, I know how much of a Houston guy he is, and Mike grew up, in the same area I grew up in, but I came after Mike. He's a little older than I am. Not throwing shade there. But when I went to him, and he and I, we talked about it, he's like, hey man, he said, the Hyenas just has nothing to do with Houston. Why do you have that name? I say, well, I went over the story with them, and as far as I said, it was just a catchy name to me, and he said, yeah, it does have a ring to it. He said, but I feel that, we should change the brand. If you don't mind, we should change the brand. And he also said, yeah, that's the only way I'm coming over.
That sounds like
But,
a Mike St. Green thing to say.
But but I also told Mike this. I said, well, I've also been trying to figure out a logo within the game, to rebrand to. I've thought about that for many seasons, And he said, well, I'll do some looking up, at some logos, and you take a look as well. And he came to my attention about the the Skulls logo that's in the game, and I said, I love it, And we also had some more prior to that, and so we end up selecting this one and end up linking up with a graphic designer and brought the prototypes to me, and I said, damn, that's awesome, and we both fell in love with what we saw, and that's how we became the Houston Headhunters.
Boom.
So with you guys going from the Hyenas to the Headhunters, how many other teams do you think could also maybe change their names and designs?
Well, in the new game a lot,
Well-
right? I mean,
Well, is this said with your chest or the word on the street?
You can
What
say,
show is it?
well, it's not Access After Dark. I could throw the After Dark logo if you want. They can get busy.
Well, no, we're not. We don't have to go that route. But and hey, man, I don't know if they need to change the name, but can we get Vancouver some color on their uniforms?
Oh shit!
And you can tell Andy I said it, but
don't
man,
worry, he's gonna hear it, bro. He'll hear it. He'll hear it.
can we get some at least? Can we get some stripes on the pants or something? I mean, dude. I mean, they look like practice jerseys.
Imagine,
but anyway.
Well, hey, they're the Penn State of the SFL, bro. Come on, they're good.
And Dave, I'm only saying all this stuff, man, because this may be the last time I get to speak in public all season. So,
well, I can guarantee you, after what you said about my show, it's the last time you're going to be on here. Yeah, Dr. If you could do it in like 30 seconds, then yeah, go ahead. I was going to mention something about that too, but you can go ahead if you would take that. If you can do it quick, because we're behind.
Yeah, Bo Martin asked the question, "What do I think about owners who are threatening to leave the league due to the game change?" If this was said with your chest, well, it ain't said with your chest, but I'm gonna say bye.
So here's something interesting. I was gonna say this, but I'll just say it now. I was on a phone call with somebody, and somebody said to me that the SFL owners who say they are leaving if we switch games is the equivalent, is the new I'm leaving the country, moving to Canada if so and so is elected president.
Yeah, I think it's silly, to be honest with you, and I've told this to several of my friends who are owners who talked about leaving the league if we go to 2K4. It's already said and done.
Yeah,
I mean, you know what I'm saying? There's testing, being a live testing going on, each and every week. So I've been saying, give it a season, see what it do, see what you like, in it or whatever, and if you don't like it, then move on. Me personally, APF, we've been around with APF for too long, and to see something new and fresh, I'm all for it. There are some things within 2K4 I don't like, but I'm not going.
No game's going to be perfect, right, Devon? I mean,
exactly.
At the end of the day, you got to pick your poisons, and to be honest, for me, especially after, I don't know how many people watched the San Diego Canton game, and I'm not saying this is why we lost, so don't take this the wrong way. But when we were in the 2 minute before halftime, I think it was 7 fullback dives in a row. And we had 3 timeouts, and we didn't even call a timeout to reset, to change the play, to do nothing. And that probably cost us a few points, right? So those are the kind of things that I like about the new game that won't be – the situationals that will be a lot better than APF.
Exactly. Also, Dave, if you go to the Carolina and Alamo City game, Carolina is marching the ball downfield on that last drive. They take a timeout, which I feel that they should have just hurried to the line, either spiked it there before they took their last timeout, kept that timeout in their back pocket, and probably try to make another play to get in between, a little closer to the end zone, then call that timeout and have another shot closer to the end zone. But what happened was that they called a timeout, and after the timeout, they run a play. They're running towards, the ball, the line of scrimmage, and defensive lineman from Alamo City is taking his patience, his slow time to get across the line to get set. But also, once that D lineman gets set, there's 3 to 2 seconds left on the clock, and Matt South does not hike the ball and spikes it.
Yeah.
The clock, I mean, he just stands there and the clock just runs down. You know, so those are the type of things that we see, as you just mentioned, in APF, that we can no longer have, you know, ball games being lost like that.
Yep. I completely agree. Well, we are over time, so I want to thank you, Damon, and you, MSG, for coming on the show, being part of this new segment we're doing called the Owner's Box, to learn a little history of the SFL, as well as get to know you guys currently. So thanks for coming on the show tonight. I appreciate both of you.
No problem, bro. Tell Cam I said hi. I'll see him around sometime.
I think he's listening right now, bro. All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, bro. Right. See you, Dave.
See you guys.
Take care.
All right, folks. That was Damon Simeon and Mike St. Green, Houston Headhunter co-owners. We're going to whip through Diva of the Week and Pick'ems real quick since we're running behind. It's probably a good thing I don't have the Diva of the Week videos for the nominees. But before we get to the nominees, I need to announce I am going to play one video right here. Your week, I guess that was week 4. I hate when I miss a week. I always mess things up. What did Doug Britton say? We need predictions for stuff. Like you're under. Oh, the muted bro. Yeah, I know. We're gonna get there. Holdorf is working on some stuff to do that live. We can do polls during the show and stuff. Week 4, Diva of the Week is none other than. I don't know who it is. Hold on a second. Ronald Christian Sully, who is the kicker for Seattle, and this is why he was the winner.
Christian Ronald Suey, who has missed 2 field goals this season already, will try and win the game from 40 yards out. From the left hash, it's a high snap, but the quarterback gets it down, the kick is up, and it is good! Seattle, 23-20 with 1 second remaining.
And my recollection, I think that was only Dougie. Wasn't that like only his second game played or something like that when he hit that field goal to win the game?
Oh no, he. You mean our kicker, Christian Ronald Suey?
I don't know, bro. This is what. What I was given. Is this the wrong name, dude? This is what I think of kickers. Apparently, is that not his name?
Christian Ronald Suey.
Hold on.
Is our kicker?
Yeah, this is a word scramble, bro. You didn't know that? Well, whoever this person is.
I'm like, who are these 3 guys?
I don't know. So Ronald and Christian and Sully. You know Sully from L.A., right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And Christian, who's a Christian?
Christian
Brown?
Pierce from
Christian
Indy?
Pierce. And then Ronald, Ron Cochran. Ron Cochran.
There we go.
Whatever his name is. I don't know, bro. This is the name given to me. I don't know what to tell you, man. Anyway, your kicker. He won. Whatever his real name is, this is what I think of kicker. Bro, here's the funny thing. When we get ready to do our Diva of the Week nominees for this week, I had to look up the name of the guy I'm nominating. I didn't even know the guy's name. Dude, this is going to be great. Somebody clipped this too. But anyway, your kicker, when he won that game, Dougie, second. Was that his second game or something that he won with or something? Somebody told me something about that.
Oh, I think he was with them last season.
All right. Well, obviously I'm getting all kinds of bum information, but apparently the voters don't care because they got 30%. He got 30% of the vote. So congratulations to Sully Christian Ronaldo. All right, let's get that off of here. And
he's also from England, so.
Oh, so he's probably not watching the show anyway. They're all sleeping except for Slyn. Except for Slyn. All right. So now that we're done with that ridiculousness, let's do this week's. Like I said, I don't have videos, so we're just gonna whip through them real quick. Frank, we'll start with you. Who is your Week 6 Diva of the Week nominee?
Mine is Nate Hall for the massive hit he put on Robert Johnson during the game. I've in all my sims and all the games that I've watched, I've never seen a player hit like that.
Really?
And after he hit him, he just kind of stood over him for a second. I thought it was pretty cool.
Gave him that diva look and then stepped off.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So nominee number 1 is Nate Hall from San Diego. Diva of the Week nominee number 2, Slyn.
So divas are supposed to, grab your attention, keep it, and then refuse to let it go. This announcer, who sounded like a throwback to a 60s radio announcer to me, brought the game to life. It actually made me, I watched the highlights, and it made me watch the full game just to listen to more of his announcing, and not just to see Dave Axis get injured.
Hey, I didn't get injured this week, believe it or not.
And he mentioned rugby league, which is a sport that's very close to my heart as well. So my diva of the week is the announcer for the San Diego County game, which is Christian Ronald Slovic.
Oh my God, that's awesome. So Chris Slovic is your diva of the week nominee. Axel, who is the third diva of the week nominee for week 6?
Yeah, I am. It's DC's quarterback synergy. For the moment, at the end of the game, he was, so I'm going to recreate it. The offense and defense settles. It was time to spike the ball. Gets up there under center at 7 seconds, 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 4, 3. Spike it quick. 1 second left. He took 6 seconds. I think he was waiting there, making sure his hair is pretty, all eyes on me, kind of thing. Yeah, just taking his.
So he's like, screw it. I can't score 2 scores in 4 seconds, so I'm going to use that camera time on myself instead.
Exactly. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
I actually love that. That's freaking perfect. All right, so we've got so far. We've got. Who was yours again, Frank? I forgot already. I was laughing so hard about this Sully thing. I forgot already. You got Nate Hall. Nate Hall.
Nate Hall putting the hit on Robert Christian Sully.
There you go. Slyn has Chris Slovic, and Axel has Synergy from DC. So Dougie and me are left. Dougie, who you got?
All right. So mine is a gentleman who has now passed Eddie Gage in pick sixes. So I happen to have
your nominee is everybody who's ever played in the SFL?
Exactly. So I have this little video. Let's see if we can get this little video in here. Hang on a sec. Okay.
There you go. Back it up just a tad and you're good. Right there. Perfect. Oh, there you go. Uh-oh. Interception.
G.B. Wallace. 101 yards. He is gone.
Dougie bringing his own video.
Hey, what can I say?
Perfect.
That guy.
G.B. Wallace. Okay.
G.B. Wallace.
All right. So there's 4 of them right there. And here's the last one. And I'm not going with another kicker because I can never remember. Actually, I don't know this guy's name either. I'm going to look it up real quick. My Diva of the Week nominee for week 4. If I had censors, I would use censors to describe him at first. But it's the backup quarterback from Canton. His name is Tex Grigg. He's an AI player. An AI player has already won once this season Diva of the Week. So let's see if we can make it 2. Tex Grigg gets my Diva of the Week moment specifically for the last drive. It wasn't very impressive throughout the game. I think he threw 3 picks. Didn't do anything outstanding. But that last drive, game-winning drive to take him down and put him in field goal position is the reason why he is my Week 4 Diva of the Week nominee. Tex Grigg apparently is his name. So there you go, folks. Holdorf will have them in the server, in the channel in the server for you to vote on here this evening. And we will vote on them until kickoff of the first game, which I don't know what it is this week. It's probably Friday night, I'm guessing, unless we don't have Friday games again. So whenever the next game is when the cutoff is. We are going to go into predictions and pick'ems, and then that's it. And then that's the show, folks. So I don't have the updated numbers for people with pick, but I will have those for you next week. We've got our beautiful graphics supplied to us by Axel Raven once again every single week. The predictions and pick'em week coming from Axel. Appreciate that. There you go. Perfect. Thank you, Justin. Saturday, 1 p.m. is the first kickoff, so that's when you have to get the Diva of the Week in. So let's whip through these pick'ems. We're not going to break the games down, you guys. We're just going to pick them. Just pick your winners, and then I'll put you guys in the spreadsheet for the pool, and whoever has the best winning percentage this year is going to get some Axis swag at the end of the season. So Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let me write these down real quick. We got Frank, we got Slyn, we got Axel, and we got Dougie. 1 p.m. Friday, Queen City at London. Frank, who you got?
London.
London. Slyn.
London to win by a score of 99 to 94.
That's not going to happen. Axel.
Queen City with this one.
Queen City. Okay. Wait, where's it? In London, huh? Interesting. Okay. And Dougie.
I'm with Axel. I'm going Queen City.
Interesting picks. All right, 1:15 p.m. on Saturday. Vegas at Canton. Frank, the previous two teams to both beat San Diego. Who you got?
Going with Vegas.
Slyn?
I've got to go with my former team, Vegas.
Axel?
Vegas.
And Dougie, is it a queen? Is it a clean
Vegas.
sweep? Vegas. There you go. I almost said queen sweep. I don't know why. 6:30 p.m. on Saturday. Minnesota at Florida. Frank? This is like game of the week. I think this is game of the week for me, by the way, just so you know.
I'm going Minnesota.
Minnesota. Slyn?
Florida.
Florida? You didn't look very confident in that pick. Axel
picking it.
Axel tried to punch you in the head from the side there. Axel, I know who you got already.
Yeah, Minnesota.
And Dougie?
Florida.
Man, Florida, we're split there. Yeah, that's going to be – I think that's the game of the week, actually. 6:45 p.m. on Saturday, Houston at Carolina. Frank?
I'm going to go with Houston on this one.
Houston. Slyn?
I think I'm going to go Carolina.
This is a toss-up for me, too. Axel, who you got?
I'm going Carolina, too.
And Dougie?
I'm going to go Carolina.
And Carolina. And yes, who was that in there? Crazy Canuck, welcome. I don't know if you were here earlier, but yeah, this is a goals hat sent to me from Doug Britton along with this very cool goals mug that I've been drinking out of tonight. All right, 9 p.m. Eastern, Saturday night. Seattle at Sioux Falls. Frank?
Sioux Falls.
Slyn.
Sorry, Dougie.
Sorry, Doug. Sioux Falls.
Sorry, everybody's going to apologize to Doug. Axel?
Sorry, Doug.
Oh, my God.
Seattle.
You know what? Fuck that. Doug, I'm not apologizing to you, and I'm picking Sioux Falls.
I'm going Seattle, yeah.
Are you going Seattle?
I'm going Seattle, yeah.
Is that why you said sorry, Doug?
It was a joke. I was just trying to make it a trilogy.
All right, Dougie, you're going with your own team.
Oh, yeah. Seattle.
I always have to ask because there's always been a couple people on the show that actually have picked against their team. So, what do we got here? After Sioux Falls, we've got 9:15 p.m. on Saturday night, the nightcap. Atlanta at L.A. Is there anybody that's picking L.A.? Really, Doug?
I'll take L.A. I take L.A. on this one.
Is that only because nobody else is picking them?
Oh, no.
What's the reasoning?
They played Tulsa really tough, and it was a couple of bad breaks, but I think LA is going to start turning the corner until they meet us again.
I got to be honest with me right now. This is the best team against one of the two worst teams in the league. I don't see it happening, but we'll find out. We'll find out Saturday at 9:15 p.m. Moving on to Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Fort Worth at Baltimore. Frank?
Fort Worth's going to make it interesting, but I'm going Baltimore.
Slyn?
Baltimore.
TP Tack 11 in the chat asking Dougie, what the hell, Doug? Axel?
Baltimore.
And clean sweep again, Dougie?
Yeah, Baltimore.
Yep. 6:45 p.m. Tulsa at Jacksonville. This is an interesting one, Frank.
Tulsa.
Slyn?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tulsa as well.
Axel?
Tulsa, yeah.
And Dougie?
Oh no, I'm going Jacksonville.
So I think he's just picking against you guys so he's swinging for the fences to try to win that swag at the end of the season is what he's trying to do. That's it. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Nacho, I know. I don't think there's many teams that wouldn't get chosen to get swept by Baltimore. Indianapolis at Portland, 9 p.m. on Sunday. Frank?
Wow.
Yeah, this is a tough
coin
one.
on this one. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Indianapolis. I think Chad's gonna have them ready.
Okay. Slyn?
I think Portland are on a winning streak, aren't they?
I think they've won 2 in a row.
I'm going to go with Portland then.
Keep that streak alive. Axel?
I'm
sorry, I can't hear your shirt.
Portland's gonna stop Indy.
Oh, Portland's going to stomp Indy. Dude, I got to tell you, I think Bullet's going to have about 20 bullet points next week after this show. Dougie?
I think Indy sinks the ship.
There you go. I mean, ships sink, right? That's what they do. So that's a good call. Indianapolis at Portland was at 9, so moving on to 9:15. San Diego at Denver. Another interesting one. Denver's been playing well. They kind of got blown out in the second half against London. San Diego on a 2-game losing streak, lost 2 close games. Frank, who you got in this one?
Well, I want to be back on the show, so I'm going to say San Diego.
That's the only way to do it. Slyn?
Unless someone gets injured and they have to put in their backup QB, I'm going to go with San Diego.
Yeah. Well, is it just me? And I don't know if Cam's still listening or anybody who's been around a while. Is it just me, or do backup quarterbacks, the AI backup quarterbacks, always seem to play pretty decent? I don't remember a backup quarterback that just comes in and throws 6 interceptions or something like that, right?
Maybe the animations force them to play. Well, sorry, the lack of animations makes them play safer.
Maybe.
They don't.
Although he did throw 3 interceptions against us. So, Axel, what were you saying? I think you were muted, bro.
I was going to say, I think the lower pass strength makes more of an arc on their balls, which helps keep the ball from defenders.
You definitely want more of an arc on your ball.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Bullet. You're welcome, Bullet. This show tonight, oh my God. I don't even know where we're at right now. Axel, it's on you.
I'm going to Denver. Sorry, guy.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're never coming back on the show, but you can keep still making me graphics. Oh, Dougie.
Okay.
Oh, San Diego.
And San Diego. Axel, just a quick, why Denver?
I think they've turned the corner with getting their offense rolling, which has been really a struggle. Their defense has been pretty good this season. And I've been on both San Diego, and Stephon Forge, who's the defensive coordinator on Denver, was on San Diego. Yeah. I'm good friends with him, so I'd just like to see him, get a one-up on a previous org.
There you go.
That's about it.
All right, good luck with that. Vancouver at Louisiana. Last game, that's the Monday night game. Vancouver at Louisiana. On paper, sounds phenomenal. You think it'll live up to the hype, Frank, and who you got?
I'm not sure about the hype. Hammer's got the offense rolling over there, so I'm going to go with Louisiana.
Okay. Slyn, you got Louisiana. Tell me why you're going to beat Vancouver.
Because they have really boring uniforms.
There you go. And MSG, that's got the MSG stamp of approval right there.
I actually quite like it.
I think they're kind of clean. As long as you're not playing in the snow, I think they're good to go.
Maybe they should they should mix it with Vegas's and then some sort of compromise.
And then actually have a normal uniform?
Yeah.
Exactly. Axel?
I'm going with Louisiana.
Wow. And then Doug, you going with your old crew? Oh, wait a minute. They're both your old crew.
Hey.
Doug gets about.
I heard Dougie gets around.
I'm going to go with Louisiana. I think the firepower is going to be too much for Vancouver's defense.
Wow, a clean sweep. I got to be honest, against the Vancouver team, I did not see that happening. But all right, folks, there are your picks and predictions for week 7. And you know what time that is now? It's time to turn out the lights because this party is over. That brings in my main man, Freddie. Freddie, what's going on, buddy? How you doing tonight, man?
What's up, Dave? Great show as always. Great panelists. And as our old buddy Dandy Don would say, turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Let's call it a night. The party's over. Until next week, we'll start the party up again. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to hit 2 hours exactly, and I think this might end up being the new norm. We'll just see it. So, I used to go 2 hours twice a week, and I'm only doing it once a week now. I tried to do the 90-minute thing. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. There's still like almost 40 of you hanging around with me tonight, so I appreciate it. Love all the party people. Special thanks to Damon Simeon and Mike St. Green for coming on the show, to Freddie and Gunny and Bullet, as always, along with Frank the Franchise Wade, Matt, Slyn, Shady, Axel, Raven, and Dougie, the biggest Twinkie in the land. Thanks for being here. Appreciate all of you guys. Next week, don't forget to tune in on Tuesday on Twitch, Mike St. Green, when we'll see you, and we will break down Week 7, and we'll have we'll probably have like graphics and videos and shit like we didn't have this week. So we'll see you next week. Thanks for being here, and next Tuesday we'll see you at the